Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Splatoon 2. I never actually played the first one, which is... Actually, did I? I had a Wii U at one point, maybe I did. I don't bloody remember, but anyway. This is a weird example of a multiplayer shooter. Very unusual. There's a lot of weird things that this game does that just, I really don't know how to explain it. It kind of feels like Nintendo's taking on a sort of free-to-play shooter stance with half of the stuff in this game. But it's a game you pay the full price for. I paid $80 Australian for this. It's funny, these two come in and talk to you every time you boot up the game, and you can see what the stages are, and they make jokes about it, and it's very odd. Risco Industries is hiring, that's alright. The writing in this game is weird, and it's full of puns. You should get used to that. Trust me on that one. So, here we are in the lobby. And the lobby, you can go around and visit all the different shops, go into all the different game modes, and do a couple of other things. Like over here, where you can play a bloody rhythm game that comes out of nowhere. You can play it with the game's music. No, I'm not even kidding. This is actually a thing that's in the game. Why this is in the game? Anyone's guess. You don't even get anything for this as far as I'm aware, so it's not like it matters. It's there if you want to know it's there, but anyway. We're going to do our menu diving as we usually do. There's actually like 2 different menus in this game. It's kind of annoying. We're going to do our menu diving. Then we're going to go into the single player. That was Marie there. She just disappeared into the sewer because she does that. Then we're going to do some co-op. Then we're going to do some actual multiplayer competitive. Because this game's weird about the way it times things. So we've got 4 different shops here. They sell weapons, shirts, shoes, hats. And we can actually hit this menu here via the X button. We can actually fast travel to all of it, but you can just walk in the doors if you want. You can also come here to see your abilities and what clothes you're wearing and what the stages and the times are. Now, I do have to point this out because this is really annoying. So, as you can see, this is all in Australian time, so this is all local to me, which is good. At 2 PM, it's currently 12:37 PM. At 2 PM, co-op closes for 2 hours. Not the worst thing in the world, but then again, if you look further down the list, you can see that it'll only be open for 12 hours on specific days. This is what I said when I mean, it kind of feels like they took a lot of free-to-play concepts and put them in this game, because these circling times just make it so that if you want to play on a specific map, or if you get bored with what maps are here, or even with regular battles where you can only play Turf War, if you want to play the other modes, you have to play them in ranked battle, which means you'll have to get absolutely slaughtered by people. It's just weird. Like, I don't know why they've made half these choices, especially with all this cycling stuff that's going on. I find it quite annoying, and I wish they wouldn't do it. You've got some options here. Notably, you can change the controls to both tabletop and handheld, which is nice. You can also come down here to turn on a color lock to make the ink colors a little easier to deal with and post displays. And also, the motion controls in this game are actually really annoying. I know some people say they're good, but it doesn't really beat a good person on an analog stick, I gotta say. Also, I've noticed this game does something weird with the controls that I can only really display out here without actually interrupting something. But I'm not actually touching the analog stick right now. The camera rotates your point of view if you're walking like up and to the left or up and to the right. It's weird and I don't know why they do it. But anyway, I've spent 5 minutes doing menu diving. You can talk to, This is a fantastic character design. I'm not the biggest fan of all the characters right now, but this is ridiculous and I love it. He just hands out boosts. So if I want to get like 20 extra games of XP, 20 games where I get 150% XP, I can do that, which is good because you level up really slowly in this game. I'm not going to do my menu diving just yet because right now it's not really the rest of the menu diving just yet because it's not really relevant. So let's go into the single-player content, which is the first third of this title. And arguably the worst third, and we'll get to why that is shortly when the game loads. Thankfully, the loading times aren't that bad, so we're here pretty much immediately. There is one thing I can only do while we're here in the first level, or first hub world, I should say, and that is to use the Ammo Knight's Enhancifier. And you can just come here to upgrade your different weapons via using items that you find in the levels. So I can actually upgrade the hero shot here, which is what I'm going to do, and now it looks just like a bloody P90, which is kind of ridiculous, but yeah. As you can see, it used my orbs and my little fish, mechanical fish things, and you can also use it to buy different kinds of bombs, and upgrade your individual weapons, and you can press the plus button to equip a new weapon, so I'm just going to take out the hero shot. I'm not going to bother explaining the mechanics until we're actually in the game, and if I hit the X button to get to this menu, all the menus have like 2 menus. It's a bit odd. I can fast travel to any of the stages I want, and we can actually also see our records on the stages, including what weapons we've beaten what stages with. The game seems to want you to beat every stage with every weapon, which is really annoying considering these stages aren't particularly good for replayability or anything like that. You've also got the scroll book, which is filled in via the collectibles in the stages, and it'll tell you, well, just a little bit about the world and all that, which is kind of neat, but as you can see, I haven't really found many, so I haven't been able to really dive in. But anyway, we're going to warp straight to Sector 3 so I can show you what a... Can I warp straight to Sector 3? No, I guess I have to just walk to it. That's a little odd. I'm not entirely sure why they make me do that. Oh well, I can still warp straight to 2, and you can see another example of a hub world before going straight to number 3 via... Definitely not that one. This is a very weird game, if you couldn't tell. The single player is made up via these hub worlds, and you've got all these individual levels that you can do throughout them. You have to go and find them, and then once you've found them, which is not particularly hard, you can do the levels to get the Zap Fish, and they'll let you move on to the next set of levels. So here we are in one I haven't actually found yet. In one I haven't actually done yet, I apologize. And the idea is we have to try and find some levels. Using some of the gadgets around the world, we can make our best attempt at that. And I just failed miserably. Sounds about right. Let's see if I can actually find a level. There's a level there. And yes, I can ink this down, go into squid form, make the jump, and there's the level right there. Simple enough. Let's just go straight into this one, not waste any time. The Floating Garden, Chasing Heartache. Very odd, and Sheldon's also going to give me a different weapon for this one. There is a story, but it literally just seems to be the Zapfish have been stolen, go and get them. That's pretty much it. So we've been given a different weapon, and we're just being told to go and do this gauntlet. That's basically what all these stages have been so far. I've finished 2 of them, 2 out of the 5 sectors, and that accounts for about 33% of the in-game levels. And it's literally just been like straightforward gauntlets. There's not that much to it. You do get 2 different... You do get the different little pickups that you can find throughout. And of course you can do this with, ow, I really shouldn't have done that. You can do this all with different... You can try and do this as fast as possible if you feel like it. But other than that, that's a car moving away outside. But it's mainly just these little gauntlets. They're fairly straightforward. They don't really have much in the way of surprises. They do have, like, different objectives and stuff that go on, and they're okay. But they are somewhat dull. They're fairly short, which is nice. It means they don't outstay their welcome too much, but then you realize you have to basically do it. You have to basically do, like, 6 or 7 of these at a time in order to finish a sector. And there's, like, 30 of these, I'm going to guess, all up. Which is not particularly great. The bosses are alright, but still, the actual levels just aren't that entertaining. But anyway, I should explain what the bloody hell I'm doing, because I haven't actually gone into the gameplay yet. This is Splatoon. Splatoon is Nintendo's version of the post-apocalypse. It's a little odd. Everybody is a kid that could also turn into a squid. And they all have guns. These are all literally guns, by the way, that fire ink. Except, well, like the Splat Roller, which is literally just a paint roller. I know, this game is odd. It doesn't really have much in the way of realism, but it's still pretty neat nonetheless. As a kid, you can move around and you can jump and you can fire your weapons and stuff, and all the different weapons have their own different abilities. Like, for example, the dual splatties that I've got here, or whatever the bloody hell they call them in this game. I can use them to fire 2 shots, but I can also do a dodge roll and combine them into one really super powerful attack. For a second or two at least, which is nice. You do also get bombs, which you can throw. I've never been a big fan of the bombs in these games. They're kind of hard to handle. That you throw them and just it takes ages for them to blow up or anything, and they don't do much damage in comparison to a good gun. Which is a little disappointing, but we'll work with it. However, the most notable thing about this game, instead of like an aim down sight functionality like the majority of third-person shooters would have, pressing the left trigger, ZL, if you want to be really want to be just like an annoying little anal retentive bastard about it, because, you know, I'm just so used to calling it the left bloody trigger because Xbox 360 controller. If you hold the left trigger in, you become a squid. And the squids can submerge themselves in ink and move faster. Which is very, very odd. Because it means that you can take less damage and you recover your ink faster. Because you have limited ammo with all your weapons. So, it benefits you to hide in the ink. Because hiding in the ink means that you can avoid damage easier, you can get your ink back, and you can just generally get ready for another round. Not to mention you go faster, which means that they can actually play with this mechanic in a lot of really interesting ways. However, in this mode, they don't really do that much with it. I mean, there are a couple of obstacles that show up that require you to be in squid mode to get past and all that, at least in the 2 sectors that I've played. But you can get most of these in like the multiplayer as well, and it doesn't really take advantage of the unique movement scheme that is being a squid, for the most part anyway. In the same way that co-op and competitive play take advantage of this, and that's what makes these levels just kind of disappointing. They really are just straightforward, no nonsense, 5-minute or so gauntlets. That's basically all these are. And while that isn't the worst thing in the world, at the same time, I find it just disappointing more than anything else. Gotcha. They do introduce new enemies and stuff, like the main point of each level is to avoid or take down or whatever the one particular mechanic that they've got going. So it'll always be one particular enemy, but still. It just ends up being surprisingly dull. Final checkpoint, we're almost there. Wasn't gonna let him get away easy. Still, it's okay. I get this is meant to serve as more of a tutorial to this game, more than anything else, but I find it really dull, and it doesn't really tell you that much about the game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good practice, but the game puts you through this weird tutorial in the first 5 minutes where it teaches you how to move using the motion controls, which is an absolute nightmare, by the way, and then it just does the silly thing of making it so that it doesn't actually tell you about any of the modes, it just points you in that general direction, and even when you're playing something like Turf War, which is the main multiplayer mode in this game, they don't bother telling you anything about it. I'm just gonna bomb him. Well, I got one of them, and he had the key, so I'm good with that. Back we go. So we're gonna find a Zapfish. Where this key goes. Where does this key go again? Oh dear. Oh. There's two things that we can put keys in. Fun. I'm just gonna hide. There we go. Give myself a little bit of extra room to move. Oh, and they've just... Okay, so now I have two keys and I have two things I can unlock. Oh, that's the way out. I'm curious, what's in this other one? Oh, that. Okay, that's one of the upgrade things. And there's Zapfish. I will take you. And we are done. That is a single player level. Fairly short. They're actually usually shorter, but I guess that one was just a little bit longer because I didn't do it in the most efficient way possible. I don't really know if time attacking actually gets you anything in this game. But yeah, as you can see, there's all the things you can finish it with. There are levels hidden all over the place. You just need to find the barely visible things, like I'm pointing directly at one. There is one other thing about these games' levels too, and that's the boss fights, and I'll be more than happy to show you one. And I'm going to do it with the regular gun. Just before I go in. I'll do it with this. Just because I get the feeling that this will be a better way to handle the boss fight. The boss fights are pretty decent, actually. They're standard Nintendo fare. Avoid their attacks, hit their weak spots. And they also just look bloody ridiculous. Like, for example, this is what the game will call the Octo Samurai. So not only is this just what is this? Like this isn't a samurai. This would be closer to a You know what this would be closer to? This would be closer to a sumo wrestler. Like the arena's circular, so oh shit. That stung. Anyway, yep, I damaged him a bit, so I get to just wail on the little squid thing there, and I get thrown back to the beginning of the level. Because that's what they do. He's a bloody sumo wrestler, but he's on a unicycle. It is a ridiculous design. It's a great design, and it shows that the people who make Splatoon obviously have some really crazy fucking ideas. And there's nothing wrong with having really fucking crazy ideas. It's just really out there. Not to mention that they've done a good job with the... Well, I was going to call it a port for a second, but we'll get on to why it feels like a port shortly. But... they've done a fantastic job with the presentation. The graphical style is just wonderful. This weird... It's near future, but then you play on a map that makes it feel more contemporary. Then you play on a map that makes it feel like it's in the future again. Then you play on one that makes you feel like it's slightly in the past. And just... it all works. It all looks great, and it all works really well. But yeah, that's the quickest way to beat this boss. Just absolutely wail on it with the dual shot. You actually have to use the paint roller in order to beat this thing the first time, which makes it fairly harder. Fair bit more of a challenge. But no, it's good. Alright, I have to shoot this thing again. There we go, 1 minute 36. That was fun. So now I just need to make my way back out to the beginning of this area. And we can head back out into the real world. I don't mind the boss fights. If it was more like the boss fights where they did some unique stuff on every stage and didn't make it feel like just the same sort of gauntlet over and over again, I might appreciate the single player a bit more. But the single player is definitely the weakest part of the package, especially when you compare it to the co-op and the competitive multiplayer. We're going to go do the co-op next, because despite the fact we've still got an hour, I do think the co-op is the best part of the game. Might as well balance out what's the word? Might as well balance out the bad bits with the good bits, huh? So this is Mr. Grizz and the Salmon Run. Salmon Run is the co-op, and as I said before, you have the time limit. So whenever the thing's not on, you can't play it, obviously. You can play it not even split screen. I don't think there is split screen in this game, which is kind of annoying. But you can play this with more than one switch, which is kind of annoying if you want me to be honest, because it just seems weird to lock this entire thing out. Like, I get that it would be a decent... I get that you could lock it out for a couple of hours to do a little bit of maintenance or to prevent people from really slamming it, but it just seems odd. But anyway, you're here and you can matchmake with friends or just freelance, which will just put you in the matchmaking pool. And of course, you can come to the menu here. You can also press Y to check your points and bonuses, and this is why I bring up this being a lot like free-to-play mobile games, because it gives you points depending on how well you do, and once you've gotten enough points, you unlock an item. This is basically just a gacha system from most free-to-play Japanese mobile games. I do actually have a few of these saved up, so just before we actually go into the co-op multiplayer itself, I'll show you what that's like, although annoyingly I have to work my way back over there, and I can turn to a squid here, which is kind of funny. You can also see people... Well, not even see them, you just see these little... these used to be like the Miiverse posts, but they've just put them into the game as like pre-made things, so you don't see giant penises everywhere anymore. Although a couple of the messages that can come up are a little odd. Like males with a sad face and I'm enjoying Splatoon. I don't even know what that means, but anyway. So apparently I get 4 tickets that give me bonuses. I get 2 times a squid flying thing and 4,000 money. Okay. So yeah, whenever you get one of those little capsules, you can check that bonus window there, and you will get some stuff, which is nice. Mainly stuff that's useful for powering up for the multiplayer mode, because the only time your clothes come into effect is in the co-op, the competitive multiplayer, I should say. So let's just go hop into matchmaking for a bit. Matchmaking in this game was fairly quick. At least back when I was playing it at like 6, 7 o'clock last night. We'd find 4 people, we'd find them fairly quickly. Might take a little bit this time around, but there we go. We have 4 people, and we're just going to hop straight in. You can see 4 supplied weapons there, which is interesting, because I'm just trying to figure out what order I should explain things with Salmon Run, because Salmon Run is really weird. Like, I like it. I really do. It's just kind of hard to explain. So, here's the drill. There's 3 waves, and everybody gets loaned a random weapon out of the 4 at the start of every stage. And of course, all the different weapons have their own different uses. So, we've got a Splat Roller, Splat Dualies, a Splash Shot Junior, and what's the one that I can't remember the name of, but it's basically a sniper. And you have to work together to get as many eggs as possible. Now, getting eggs means you have to defeat the big boss monsters. You can see one on the left there. I don't remember his name, but the idea is, you deal enough damage to them, they drop eggs. You can pick up an egg and take it back to the egg basket. Take it back to the egg basket, it gets added to the quota. Get 6 eggs on this wave, and you will move on to the next wave. And it is entirely possible to run out of time. I'm not kidding. It is entirely possible. This mode can be very, very difficult. Trust me on that one. Hang on, we'll get you up, mate. If you get splattered, you turn into a life ring. You can go and ask your mates to shoot you, and they'll get you back up. And, well, that's basically it. Here's another boss monster. There's 7 in the default set of waves, and there's also a couple of special ones that can pop up, including one where they basically just swarm you. You get absolutely just swarmed by these things in the dark. There's the fog, which will bring out another special one. There's another special one. It's just weird. There's like 10 of these bosses overall, and they all need to be taken out in different ways. Like you saw, you had to kill the guy at the back of that thing as the pilot, right? Now, that one you had to kill by taking out the bomb on top of his head. This guy here, you have to stun him and then shoot him in the back. And they can absolutely swarm you, as you can see. So, it's all about working together with your teammates to get as many eggs in there as possible. Thankfully, they all back off as soon as the timer hits 0. We all get swapped to different weapons, the stage might change, and the waves continue. I've been given the Splat Charger, which is basically a charging sniper rifle. And the arena has closed in, and it's goddamn nighttime, which means we are probably going to die. This is not going to be fun. Oh no, it's actually this guy. We might be okay. So, this guy, we basically just have to shoot him in his exposed tail, and he'll drop eggs for us, which is nice. See? There we go. He's got the eggs. We take the eggs and we take them back. It's really that simple, and I immediately fall into the water. Which, of course, despite the fact that we go swimming in ink all the bloody time, somehow manages to kill us. Oh, don't ask me, it's Splatoon logic. But yeah, that's the one I was talking about, which I really couldn't describe. It's weird. It's like a floating UFO, but with tails on the outside. Man, this game's got a weird sense of imagination, but I like it. But here's the thing about Salmon Run, which makes it really unique. Since the 4 weapons that are given out at random, everyone has to switch to accommodate to their new role very quickly. And not only can all the weapons also provide... different abilities, because you actually get different special abilities. You saw me do a splashdown in wave 1. We'll get on to how the special abilities work once we actually get into the multiplayer side of things. So not only can you do that, but since your weapons are different, you're better at specific things. So since I'm on the sniper rifle right now, I'm great for hitting the more heavily armored targets. The Splat Roller guy is great for clearing the way, and the Splat Jewelies are great for, like, suppression. So, you know, you can hold back the small dudes while the bigger guys take care of the more powerful targets. Combine that with the fact that the game also has the sinking into the ground and swimming along in the ink sort of thing. Which means that your Splat Roller is going to be constantly working new paths for you, since the time is so limited, and you can get more eggs than the required quota for a bigger boost to your boost points. That means that the co-op ends up... Oh shit. Oh, I avoided that just barely. Go me. Alright. So yeah, that's Jaws, by the way. You have to throw a bomb into his mouth. And I unfortunately didn't have the ink to do it. Bloody Jaws. And there's the giant stack of cooking pots. Thankfully, he is very easy to defeat. I'm just going to stay here and make sure that the fish don't come along and try and steal the eggs. Because they actually do that if you leave them out long enough. There's an acid storm going on there. But yeah, considering that they have their own ink as well, and you have to keep the route clear so that you can get back to the basket faster and even just move around faster. It means that every team member, even the one with the Splat Roller who can't really do that much damage to the bosses unless he gets really close and therefore is more than capable of getting his ass handed to him by pretty much anything. It means that the game takes on... the game is really good cooperatively, is what I'm trying to say. Because it gives everyone a purpose. It makes it so that no one can just, like, be the splat sniper and be really bad at it for the entire bloody run. And it just makes it a really interesting co-op experience, because it's insane. It just turns into barely controlled chaos within 30 seconds, and it's absolutely wonderful. Like, I know that's a bit of a weird way to say it, but it's really enjoyable. It's a really clever idea. I've only even played on this one map, and the other map will be completely different. The map can change between waves. The enemies that you fight are always different because there's so many of them, and they can just all swarm you. We'll do one more of that. Maybe I'll be able to show you what the Splat Roller is like, which is a very unique weapon for a game about third-person shooting. And it's just a... oh, dear. Alright, we will do this one more time, damn it. It's just a really unique way of looking at an already unique game. And that is really cool. Like, seriously, it's a legit fantastic way of taking something you already had and turning it into something that feels completely different, but still somewhat the same. Not to mention it's really enjoyable, and despite the fact that I've only been playing on one map, I've had no problem with the variety of this mode whatsoever. No in comparison to, say, oh, the water level's coming up again. Thankfully, it's still daytime, so hopefully this won't be too bad of a cluster. To say that I've been having a fantastic time with the co-op would be entirely fair, just because of just how well this game handles its co-op. The variety is pretty high, the changing map makes things interesting, the huge swarms of enemies makes things challenging, but not entirely unfair. It's just a really good idea. It works fantastically, and I'm really disappointed that there's only going to be specific points in the future when you can play it. It's been up pretty much all weekend, but only with this map, which is okay, I guess, but it's just disappointing that the game is like... It really is disappointing that it's just not going to be available all the time unless you have, like, local friends. You can change how hard the game is here, but you also do, like, level up, and this seems like something that people would be more than happy to level up in endlessly and constantly, just because, well, as you level up, the more difficult it gets, and you can actually get knocked down if you lose games, so it is actually a relatively big challenge to keep your... let me try that again. To keep your rank going up. If they added more maps and... I was going to say modes, but if they just added, like, more maps and a little bit more... Not so much variety, but just, you know, like, new weapon sets, new maps, new enemy types, new boss types. You know, stuff like that. I'd probably recommend Splatoon 2 just for the co-op on its own and just play the competitive multiplayer when you feel like it, because this mode is seriously that good. I'm legitimately amazed that it turned out as well as it did, because I honestly would have thought that this would not have gone anywhere near as well as it actually did, but it did. They are definitely onto a winner with this one. Absolutely. Not to mention, the matches are also pretty short as well, so if you only have time for one or two, that's fine. Whoops. Oh, there he is. Hi. What are you doing? You're dead now. This has gone pretty well for me, actually. Generally... These games can go one of two ways, which is kind of... What's the word? Kind of annoying, but at the same time not the worst thing in the world, because, you know, it's a co-op game. If you're in over your head, you will probably feel it straight off. And that's, basically, you either get to the end with a lot of eggs, or you get the absolute shit beaten out of you, and you don't make it to the end of the third wave. Because obviously, if everyone dies, or if you don't meet the quota, you automatically lose. Yeah, don't you dare take those eggs. I am going to beat your shit if you do. Just more of this, please. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind if it takes them a little while. I just want to see more of this. This is horrendously well balanced. Oh yeah, now I get the splat roller, so you get to see what this is like. The splat roller is literally just an ink roller. And I just died because they... Yeah, thanks, game. Thanks, and thank you, Durf, for... Legitimately, thank you, Durf, for getting me up. But anyway, this is the ink roller. It's literally a roller. You roll across the ground and you just paint turf with it. You also have, like, the ability to do short-range attacks like this. Except I ran out of ink. But yeah, you can do that, or you can jump in the air and do a vertical attack, which does more range. Really clever idea, based around... Since you actually have to, you know, be painting terrain and all that, making something that's literally just a paint roller is brilliant. Also a little neat thing. You have ink, and you can see it, like, my current ink meter is that life preserver on my back. You can see how it's almost full right now. And now it's emptying out. Yeah. It's the... Oh, great. I'm always running low on ink. Yeah, that's just a really clever detail. God damn it. But yeah, we met the quota. All we need to do is live through this and we're good. Which is entirely difficult. More difficult than you might think. Thankfully, I do tons of damage, so... Yay, he just splashed down, and I'm going to just throw as many bombs as I can, because why the hell not? Just bomb everything. But yeah, we won that too. We actually did really well, so no argument from me. We doubled our quota, at the very least, on every one of those waves. 52, that's actually the highest number of golden eggs that I've gotten. Which is good. Which is actually really good. I got 16 eggs, bloody hell. And I got a pay raise, that means I get more points, and that means I've actually unlocked a, another thing. We're not gonna go another shift, we have to go and actually play the other competitive multiplayer modes. So, what the... I don't even want to know. So, I'm just gonna go see what that thing is that I got. The gacha. They call it gacha, which is all the weird. But anyway, give me that. Another 4,000 coins. Thanks. Like, I really didn't need any more money. But anyway, this lobby here is where you go for your competitive multiplayer. But we're not going to go there just yet because we have a little bit more menu diving to do before we do. So you can see that we can buy weapons, headgear, clothes, and shoes. We'll go check out the weapons first, because the weapons are the most important part of the game, obviously. So we can talk to Sheldon, he's going to tell us what weapons we can buy. So, there are tons of different kinds of weapons. You got bloody brushes, a blaster, which is like just a rocket launcher, slosher, which is just a big thing that goes out in front of you, splat dualies. I just need to sort by weapons I've... Oh, right, so I can't sort them by much anyway. Alright, I'll sort them by main. So, you can see that there's all sorts of different kinds of weapons, like the Splash Shot Juniors, the Aerospray MG, which is basically a Gatling gun. That's literally a bloody... And he has a zapper right there. There's the rollers. There's the charger, the heavy splatling, which is literally just a Gatling gun. I will show that off. And there's a bunch of other weapons too that you can unlock over time. So anyway... This is what the Splat Gatling looks like, just while I explain how this all works. So, the Splat Gatling is You just literally hold the button down until you spool the ink up enough. And then you can just fire it all off. So, yeah, that's kind of neat. But there is another thing as well. So, depending on your main weapon, you will also get your bomb. And in this case, I believe it is a signal. No, it's just a sprinkler. Right, no. I was thinking of another weapon. So yeah, in this case, it's the sprinkler. And you'll also get your special weapon, which you can use by clicking in the right stick. And as you can see in the top right corner there, it is basically just a gigantic laser that you can angle wherever the hell you want to angle the damn thing. I better refill my ink. So, yeah, you can see up there, and you can change your weapons here and try them all out as well. So, as you can see, there's different bombs. So, suction bomb just sticks there, burst bomb just blows up on contact, splat bomb's a time bomb. There's a bunch of other things going on. And you've got your specials, splash down, which is the one where you just come down and do damage in a radius. Ink storm, which is just rain. Ink armor, which gives you more health. Ink jet, which just puts you up as a jetpack. Yada, yada, yada. You get the idea. That's how your weapons work. And you can only take one into a particular match at a time. Which is fine. However, I do think you unlock them a little bit too slowly. You unlock a weapon every time you level up, and leveling up in this game is a bit of a chore. It takes a fairly long time to level up. It will take multiple matches. And unless you go through the single player and get all the bloody high experience tickets you can get there first, you will just very slowly unlock stuff. So if you want to play with a specific type of weapon, you might have to wait until a really high level to get it. Like, for example, I played this game for like 7 hours, I think my overall playtime is like 8 or 9 hours, and most of that was in the competitive multiplayer. But I was only able to get a few weapons unlocked from this. So if I just scroll all the way over here, these are all the weapons I have, and the ones on the left are all the weapons I own, and some of them are more or less copies of other weapons. So if you want to play with a specific type of weapon, you have to wait until you unlock it. And most of these weapons seem to be just variations on the same weapon, just with different sub and special weapons, which is kind of annoying. Also kind of annoying is these. These are your clothing options. These change every time, well, not so much every time. I think these change like every 24 hours. I'm not sure. They are different from the last time I looked, which was yesterday. I'm going to guess that that's how they change. But as you can see, they have their own little abilities, and they also have sub-abilities. And these sub-abilities are unlocked every time you level them up. They level up just like your regular level does. And you can buy them, and as you level these little abilities here up, you can upgrade them using some other kind of collectible that I haven't actually seen yet. I don't actually want to get rid of the shirt I have on right now because it's a really good shirt, so let's just move on to this one here, see if I can find anything half decent. It's probably not bad, actually. I'll take a look at it. I'll equip that. Why not? And it does take a while to unlock all of these abilities as well. Like, I wasn't actually able to buy this Slipstream United thing, which has 2 extra slots on it, until this point in time. I don't know if this is a thing that was just random and I just got unlucky to the point where I only had single slot clothes, but it just kind of annoys me because you can't buy 4 slot clothes right off the bat. So if I just back out of the shops now and go back to my menu, you can see in my status that I already had one thing that's already fully leveled up with all its abilities and all that. But the game is just like... what's this? Ability chunks? Alright. Increases movement speed in squid form. I guess I can use that on these clothes later on. But I can't actually get like 4 slot ones until unless I got really lucky in the co-op, or if I just got lucky in the store, which is kind of annoying because going up against people who have 4 slot clothes and everything might make them better than you, which is oh so slightly annoying. Was that Squidward? That's Squidward. Okay. But anyway, let's actually go and play the competitive game now. 45 minutes in. And it's not going to get much better than that, folks, I tell ya. So, this is weird as well. It's kind of strange. It kind of ties into the whole scheduling thing that I've got a problem with. You can join your friends who are playing just by jumping into their game. You can also do private battles and, of course, the online lounge, which requires the Nintendo Switch app on your phone or your tablet, which is... I'm not even going to go into why that's a horrible, horrible idea. And you've got 3 types of competitive battles. You have the regular battle, the ranked battle, and the league battle. The regular battle only has Turf War, which is the main mode of the game, which is... I don't like it, because it means that unless you want to wait for a Splatfest, which I'll try and get into, I don't really know much about Splatfest, because one hasn't actually happened yet. If you want to play the other modes, you actually have to go in a ranked battle, and I was playing regular battle, and I was getting top of the leaderboard pretty much constantly. I was doing really well. I think I got more firsts in my team than in any other position on my team. So, when I went to ranked battle and got absolutely flattened, it was a little bit annoying, because if I just wanted to play it casually like I did regular battle, but I wanted to play like Rainmaker mode or the Tower mode, which is basically just like a King of the Hill mode, I would have to go up there into ranked battle and get my ass absolutely flattened, which is kind of unfortunate. Kind of annoying, really. But let's go and play some Turf War. I will go and play some ranked battle, but just like in the... Just like with the way the scheduling works, the mode is locked until it changes in the next couple of hours, or should I say in the next 40 minutes. Matchmaking and network lag and all that seems absolutely fine in this game, by the way. I don't have a problem with it. I was playing with a mate who was having problems with it, but he said his Switch was really far away from his Wi-Fi, so... You know, it might have been a problem on his end. So we get to see all the different weapons this time. I'm currently just rocking a splatter shot, but the splatter shot is still pretty effective in my opinion, so I will just hold on to that for as long as I can, because I don't mind me a splatter shot. So, this is Turf War, which is the one main competitive mode. And, well, not competitive, but the main mode that you will be playing until you get to level 10. Yes, I had to get to level 10 to unlock the bloody thing, so... Oh, that's an ink storm. I better get out of that. Might as well just splash down here, and I actually got someone. Awesome. But yeah, this is Turf War. How Turf War works is... You play it... And the idea is... The person at the end of the 3-minute timer, which you can see up in the... Shit. The person at the end of the 3-minute timer who's covered the map in most of their own color wins. Right? And the game is very, very specific about this. It's entirely possible to lose by 0.2%. That is a thing that can happen. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, God will you get annoyed. I actually haven't lost by that much, but it's certainly a thing that can possibly happen. And the general idea is that you just have to cover as much of the terrain as humanly possible. Which is fine. Like, seriously. Considering that this is a game based around the idea of the being able to swim in this ink, it's actually a pretty good goal. And all the maps are laid out differently, but they are also all symmetrical as far as I can tell, or at least very close to it. So you end up in a... What's the word? You end up in a... You end up in a fair fight pretty much all the time. It just comes down to player skill. However, the actual player skill in this mode in particular is kind of... I don't know if it's just me being ridiculously good at the game, or if it's just everyone else being ridiculously bad, but the game seems relatively easy until you at least get into the ranked battle, so I'm going to assume it's just the casual players aren't particularly good in Australia, I must say, because I am actually playing with locals, and possibly Japanese locals who are also not the best, but, you know, it just seems weird. Like, I'm not very good at video games, I will admit that, but even I've been having absolutely no trouble with this. Which is all the weirder. That wasn't a very good move on my part, but, well, what have you. This is the super jump window where you can just immediately go to a friend and help them out. Nice little tactic. You can also... And you can also use your special abilities here. Obviously, the more terrain you cover, the more of your special meter you'll get. I have no idea who won this one. I'm going to assume it's us by a little bit. No, us by a fair amount. Okay. Matches are obviously quick. Like 3 minutes is the average time because it goes for that long. It's pretty unusual for me to come bloody second on my team. I'm seriously not tooting my own horn here. I have like, I started screenshotting every time I got up to the bloody top of my team, and I ended up having like, what's the word? I ended up having like 12 screenshots by the end of the night, and that wasn't counting the ones I didn't screenshot. So it was weird, but yeah. You level up via your performance in that, and the thing about leveling up via your performance is that it's not really your performance, but your team's performance. You can see that I've also got a ranking there, which is fresh, and that goes up and down depending on whether you win or lose, and you get massive experience boosts and stuff like that via that. And the problem is, it's all dependent on your team. If you end up playing with a bad team and you end up doing really well, doesn't matter. You end up basically just losing. You end up losing more than you would have gained anyway. It's just kind of unfortunate. I hate games that do that, that don't base it off your individual performance. Especially in a game like this, because other than getting the other players out of the way, actively killing other players, or as the game calls it, splatting other players, doesn't actually give you anything. It just gets them out of the way for a few seconds. So it's definitely more focused on... you know, covering the terrain and trying to win the game for your team. Which is great. Absolutely great. The multiplayer shooters have always had a problem with this sort of thing. That goddamn jetpack. Multiplayer shooters have always had a problem with this sort of thing, but this game, just, you know, like one step forward, one step back, guys. I'd love it if you didn't feel the need to do that. And so now he's dead. Just clearing the way, and over I go. This also applies to the ranked mode as well, because the problem with the ranked mode is that, again, it just all depends on your teammates, more or less. Which kind of sucks, honestly. Damn it. I just wish the game didn't do that, more or less. I don't know what will convince them to make it so that your performance in the team is pretty important, but let's just make it so that if your team screws up, you don't get as many points as you would have otherwise. I really don't know why they insist on doing that. There are lots of weird decisions like this game's scheduling and the fact that you can only play 2 maps every 2 hours. So if you want to have a really long game of Splatoon, you'll be playing the 2 same maps over and over again. Real big pain in the ass for me when I was trying to level up because I was only able to play the same 2 maps for 2 hours. Thankfully, since I played for like 6 or 8 hours, I got to play most of the maps, and there's a couple that I really like. There's the one in the skyscraper, and the one in, I don't know if it was basically like a stadium? It was kind of like a stadium. Those 2 maps were great, because they had like unique ways of going about it. Like on the skyscraper map, you started out on the high point on both sides, on both teams, and you both had to fight over the middle, or you could try and get behind the enemy and try and take them out. But the thing is, the way the maps in this game are designed means that all the maps feel slightly similar. So the general idea with a Splatoon map is the map has to be symmetrical, and it generally needs to be slightly harder to get to the enemy spawn point. So they'll put it somewhere that you can't easily get to it, but your team can easily get to it. Which is a fine idea in concept. It just makes the maps feel slightly similar unless they have this really out there design that will Unless they have this really out there design that gives it a little bit of extra variety. Which is kind of disappointing, really. I'm going to stop here now, and I'm going to go and play the competitive mode. And try not to get my ass handed to me. Apparently, I also got a freshness bonus, so I got a massive level up there, which is kind of nice. Amount of XP, I mean. So if I exit, I can come back here and I can swap my weapons. And I might as well swap weapons. The question is, what do I swap to? Because, seriously, this is a lot harder than it looks. I might as well play with a splat charger. Not like it's going to do me any harm. I'm gonna lose anyway. That's just generally the way it goes. I've only played a few matches of this, but you start out in that unranked hell that you have to go through before it really gives you your rank and just puts you in with people that you can actually fight against. Which is kind of annoying. I haven't actually played Rainmaker mode. We'll see what it's like. I don't mind the idea of the one that they made, which is the one that I played before, which was basically just King of the Hill combined with payload. So you had to stay on top of it, and it just slowly moved in between the two bases, and the closer it got to someone, the enemy's base, the better it was for you. I don't even know what this mode is, but anyway. This is the skyscraper map I was talking about, by the way. Notably, all the maps seem to work alright for the... All the maps seem to work alright for the, for this. For pretty much every mode, so that's good. Kind of hard to see what's going on. No, I can't hear him from here. Whoop. I'm gonna try and get after him. That was probably a bad idea. Okay, so I get it. You just have to... It is basically just Juggernaut. Team-based Juggernaut. That's fine. Yeah, we are going to lose this one. We are going to lose it badly. As we pretty much do all the goddamn time, because this is how this game works. I'm just going to come up with a splat charge and miss again and die. Probably should have just stuck with my bloody splatter shot. Thankfully with the this gun here. Thankfully with this you can actually go under the thing. You can actually go underwater when your charge is held up, and you can come back up and be ready to do more damage. We lost the Rainmaker. Shit, and I'm dead. I'm really not playing intelligently in this game. Why did I bring along the bloody sniper rifle? There is another thing that this game will have going for it, which is the Splatfests, which is apparently a way that you can... buy the... buy some extra abilities and merge them on the clothes that you like, so that you can have the set of clothes that you want with the set of abilities that you want. And it also has this weird little community thing where they actually put the different modes in the regular battle. It would be nice if they did that more often, since apparently they only did it like 14 times in a year, and they only lasted like a week or something. Seriously, I didn't play Splatoon 1 that much, if I did at all. My brain fails me on this one. So... I'm going to play this with a proper weapon next time, and I'm going to try not to suck horribly. But seriously, the people who play these competitive modes are usually way better than I am. That was a bad spot to come down. wish you could change weapons mid-match. That would be nice. Can't actually do that, can I? No, none of the menu buttons work. Well, at least I took him out once. That works. We've just passed the hour mark. Really wish I could turn down my sensitivity while I'm using just this gun. We're being shot at from behind. And I failed miserably. Ha! Sorry, bud. Yeah, we're about to lose. There is sudden death, but I don't think we're gonna pull this off. And there we go. So yeah, we lost that one pretty badly. I'm gonna try that again with a weapon I can actually use. That would probably be a good idea. But yeah, we got absolutely floored there. Look at those kill counts. And yep, I don't even go up in rank just that tiny little bit. And my gear's unlocked, it's all randomized, so I get faster squid movement, and what was that? A faster special ability? Okay, change my equipment again. We are going to go back to the... Actually, you know what? I'm going to play with the Splash Shot Pro. This might actually be more useful in this sort of mode. Entirely possible, but also entirely not possible. We'll give this one more game, and then I'll wrap this video up, because I've literally been at this for a bloody hour now. Seriously, nobody's going to watch this entire goddamn video. Then I basically have to get to work on getting the bloody weekly update done. Then I have to figure out what the hell I'm going to do for videos this week. I won't have any more time to put into Splatoon 2, which is a shame. This is actually another one of the good maps, because it's this massive, like, grid where everything has 2 or 3 ways in, so you really have to think about where you're moving and how much ink you've got down on the ground and just all of that nonsense. All of that nonsense is very important. I'm just gonna throw out a bloody rainstorm. And some guy spawned next to me because of course he did. Yeah, I'm guessing with the Rainmaker you just have to get at the base. I'm just gonna super jump. They're probably gonna see me and kill me immediately, but... because that's what happens when you're actually playing in a game where people are trying to be competent, which is certainly something. I'm just gonna splat the ground and keep him away. Come on. Oh, fuck off. Come on. Thank you. Yoink. And nobody came to help me. What the fuck? Why did nobody want to help me? What was that about? Seriously, guys? I had the damn Rainmaker. Nobody wanted to... Oh, Christ. But yeah, Splatoon 2 is really good. Like, there's a bunch of stuff it doesn't do right. Like, the entirety of the single-player campaign is just dull as dishwater. And the scheduling, the whole scheduling thing is just ridiculous. And the whole scheduling thing is just ridiculous. Wow. Okay. We win. One more game? Let's not stop a good game in progress, shall we say. Let's not stop a victory streak of one. But yeah, the whole scheduling thing is still ridiculous, and I just find it kind of annoying that I can only play 2 maps every 2 hours. The fact that co-op isn't available online at all. The fact that there's no split screen as far as I'm aware, so you can't do like local split screen with a friend. You have to have 2 Switches and 2 copies of this game, which is a ridiculous cost to have, I must say. And the fact that it takes you until level 10, which is a really long time, to unlock anything that isn't Turf War, and the fact that you have to unlock all your weapons, which doesn't really seem to be a thing that needs to be bothered with, because it's basically just the same set of weapons, more or less anyway, just with different, like, sub and special abilities. And the whole clothes thing is just a little odd. But I still like Splatoon. He can't hit me from this distance, which I'm very happy about. Oh, he can hit me from this distance. The cheeky fuck. Okay. I really do like Splatoon 2. The shooting is fun, frenetic, fast, and exciting. The competitive multiplayer is a neat twist on the usual shooter fare. The cooperative multiplayer is a neat twist on the competitive multiplayer. And just the overall concept and the way they handle it with like the squids and the... We fucking won again? Just the overall concept and the way they handle it with the kids and the squids, and the fact that pretty much no matter what you're playing, although it's less pronounced in the single player, the fact that you have, like... What's the word? The fact that you have... What the hell? Okay, the game just leveled me up nearly twice there. What? How does that happen? That has not happened to me before. That is weird. Why did I get so much XP from that? One more time. Let's see if we can actually get either a more balanced or a more kick-ass, more kick-my-ass game going on here. Oh, the animation must have bugged out. That's weird. I haven't seen that before. But just the overall concept with the kids and the squids and the whole ink thing working in every mode, and, you know, having all the ink not only be the way you win in terms of the like the actual game, but also being a strategic advantage, makes this way more interesting than it has any real right to. Wow. Splattered by the Rainmakers. I didn't even know that could happen. Okay. Didn't even know that was a thing. Alright. Time to go defend the Rainmaker. Apparently I can't shoot that. And yeah, we just lost badly. See what I mean about being an unranked hell? What's with that face? That is an ugly face. Oh, I don't even get any experience for that match. Are you serious? Not even one little bit? That's annoying as hell. It's got problems. And some of these problems seem to have been carried over from Splatoon 1, which is why I think this is a port more than anything else, because it's still using the same weapons, some of the maps are still the same, and it really just does... I mean, I looked up gameplay of Splatoon 1, and it really just does kind of look the same as this. But still, Splatoon 2, despite its many faults, is really good. And if you're into third-person shooters at all, like, if in any way, shape, or form, this is definitely worth your time to check out. It's a really unique way of going about things. And I really do enjoy it. Really makes me wish that some of those problems were solved back when Splatoon 1 was a thing, but oh well. Hopefully they'll continue the same support that Splatoon 1 had. Hopefully they'll continue the same support that Splatoon 1 had as well, because it only launched with like a few maps, but it had like 16 by the end of its first year, which was basically when they stopped supporting it, because Wii U. That would be great. But yeah, there you go. That was an hour and 10 minutes of me talking in depth about everything Splatoon is and has. That's weird. I'm guessing they just picked out some of the top ones from the Miiverse on the original Splatoon and just stuck them in here. But yeah. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.